Boom, and here we are on Matt Chat's number 26. And, traveling all over the place as we do, we get to bump into people. And I'm very lucky to do my job, the job that I do, and really privileged today. I'll tell you a little story before I introduce her. I was at HRH, I think, in November, and we were playing our set. And then about sort of 10 minutes before the end of our set, everyone just started disappearing out, going next door into the other room. I think, what the hell's going on? Must be another band playing on there. Anyway, I went to check out this band, and they were fantastic. They were great. I didn't think I'd ever see them again. And then, lo and behold, about an hour later, the young lady herself comes into the canteen and comes and chats to me. And I thought, what a lovely person. And it's so nice to be able to introduce you, the lovely Princess Maha. How are you?
Oh, thanks so much. I'm great. That's a really lovely intro. Yeah, it was such a good event, that Hard Rock Hell gig, wasn't it? And thanks for saying hello and stuff as well.
No, it isn't. I mean, I've been in the industry a long time, and I've met a lot of people. But you conducted yourself in a really professional way, and you were great on stage. I really loved it. It's that kind of the three of you just giving it some on stage was a great thing to watch. And it's very nice of you to join us from San Francisco today. Thank you for that.
Yeah, no worries.
I want to get into it from the start because you started quite young, didn't you? You started when you were about 14, when you were at school.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I kind of really just loved playing and like writing songs. So my first gig actually was at my high school, which they turned off because we were too loud and heavy.
Excellent.
But yeah, so it's all been going on from there, fighting against the powers that be to just keep doing what you do.
So punk rock. I love that. That's exactly what it's about. Do you know, it's interesting. I was just reading somewhere on that you went to Roehampton. Did you discover? What you sort of discover? You were sort of studying psychology. Is that correct?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, psychology was an area I got into by mistake, really, because in my first band, just making music and doing our thing, and our drummer started to become unwell. Right. And exhibiting some symptoms that no one could explain, that were just kind of very out there, hallucinations and delusions and unusual behavior. And it didn't affect his playing. It was, he's an amazing musician and still is, classically trained drummer, incredible at working together with everyone, which I think is what music's all about, isn't it?
Yeah, totally.
But like he became really unwell, so I couldn't really understand it because firstly I couldn't really see it, so kind of get more into psychology and tried to research. But as I was doing that, I realized that I actually really liked psychology as a subject, a lot more than the other subjects I was doing, and from there just kind of did it for A-level and the degree and so on. And then went and specialized in it quite a lot, researching schizophrenia risk.
Wow, it's interesting. You studied in Roehampton. That's I grew up just down the road from there. I grew up in Barnes. I was born in Barnes, just down the road. And my first ever library was in Roehampton. That little library at the bottom of the flats. You know that little library?
Yeah,
you may have seen it. Yeah, that's where I got my first bar books many years ago, which I did. It's interesting you say that about your drummer and about you getting into it and getting involved in it from seeing that. I think it's, we go in certain ways, and sometimes certain things ask us to find out a little bit more. Sometimes they're set out for us. Do you use that in performing when you're looking at an audience? I mean, and you start sort of seriously psychologically profiling people while you're out there?
No, to be honest, I mean, the music part is more part of my personality, whereas the psychology part is something that I have to work on and dig out. Do you know what I mean? It's not something that I can do. I mean, sometimes I get sixth sense, about things, or what that others around me might consider to be like premonitions or things like that. But I don't know whether they come from psychology or there's going to be an element which picks it out. But I think the more that you go into psychology, the more you can excuse everyone's behavior and things. It's not like you become judgmental. I feel like it's almost the opposite. That you can you know, they say that as well, like if you can't understand someone's behavior and it was bad, then you shouldn't forgive them because you can't understand why they did it, and there maybe, you know, maybe instability. But actually, the more you do psychology, the more you can understand and explain all behaviors. So I guess you probably become, in some capacity, more forgiving, more open, and see why people act in different ways more.
You know, I actually find that very interesting. I mean, I've been, I said, performing a long time. I've been attacked on stage. I've, you know, things thrown at me. I can actually sense sometimes in an audience when I can see something's going to happen. I sometimes have a premonition knowing sometimes when to duck when something's coming, or I can sense a fight before it happens very often, you know. And I'm always very intrigued that sometimes you do get something. And I was driving home from a gig the other night about 2 o'clock in the morning, really tired. There's a crossroads near where I live. And I normally just drive straight over it because it's, you know, there's no one around. But I just stopped for a second, just paused, and this car with no lights just shot across me. And something told me to stop. Something in me, and I can't explain it, but it really does. So it's a subject that really fascinates me. And you know, perhaps another off air we can talk about this a bit longer. I know you've got a gig to get to tonight, so I didn't want to keep you too long. I'm very privileged to have you talking to me today because I know you don't like doing these things, and so it's a real honour to have you.
No, likewise. I mean, I am kind of a bit terrified of Zoom calls for video. You know, I don't know why. Let's see how it turns out.
Yeah, it turns out. Yeah, okay. Well, let's go back to the music. Important. I mean, you started off, I think, "Make Up" was your first single. Is that right? The first one you did?
Well, I mean, it was the first EP.
EP.
There is some stuff that isn't actually around online, like the Vision single, which actually was about premonition. That, you know, my sister had a dream about me getting involved with somebody that it turned out to be a serial killer and was always really bad. And she told me about this vision, and the song is about that vision.
Wow.
I mean, that's the story of the song anyway.
No, I like it. No, I like to get a little sort of idea into it. I mean, you're being very modest, as I recall, and I think I saw a video called Animo. Where did I saw that sometime? That's you, isn't it? Doesn't it? And I really liked it. It's a really powerful track. So what's the story behind that?
Amazing. Well, I guess the thing is, you know, there was a lot of cases where, you know, either the police or just bad treatment of women, you know, murders and, you know, abusive behavior. And really, I was just kind of trying to put my 2 cents out there about how, you know, we are kind of able to be strong in the face of all this stuff and summon a lot of courage, which we do. You know, I feel like women have to summon a lot more courage on a daily basis to exist in this world. So that's what the song represents, really.
It's very powerful. I grew up with 4 sisters, and
yeah, that's great.
Yeah, but I had a chat. I don't know, you can probably find out. I had a chat with Beth McDonald, Beth played in The Beautiful Disaster about a few weeks back, and she told me a very torrid story. It's a very powerful interview. I had to put a few trigger warnings up as well about being in an abusive relationship and how and getting over it to now. And it really fills me with joy to see so many powerful women in the rock industry now, because when I started, there really wasn't. And to see them now and going on stage, kicking out, giving it that kind of attitude, and it is so good. It really helps. I think people get a better understanding, and you know, I think you should be very proud of what you're doing. And something that you haven't mentioned yet, which I'm going to mention, is that Grit became the first rock album #1 for a girl trio all playing their own instruments. Is that correct?
Yeah, so like something similar. So when I was told about this, I was like, this can't be possible. I mean, there's so many amazing female artists and female musicians, but as it happens, since that chart exists, the rock chart, since I think the 90s, that there's never been female drums, female bass, female guitar. A lot of the projects, even if they do have majority female members, there's usually a male drummer or male bass player, which, you know, I don't know how that's happened really, but it does show that there's a lack of representation in terms of the push behind female musicians. You know, the collective also includes Jake, so it's not like we say, you know, guys can't be involved as well. But you know, Jake's a fully fledged member of the collective and did play the guitar on my own as well, which the recent video just came out. But yeah, I was really shocked to hear that, and then I was annoyed because it kind of makes me feel like, well, you know, what about all the girl bands that we love, you know, or artists, and why were they not able to top that rock chart before? But yeah, also it's a good sign that change is coming and progress is being made.
That's kind of what I wanted to lead on to. I think it's great. I mean, there's no getting away from it. I know society nowadays is a lot more, you know, diverse, a lot more embracing, a lot more things, and it's good. And you know, I've got children, so I talk to them, and they're my yardstick. You know, and I grew up on Carry On films and double entendres, and it's for me, it's trying to be able to fit them in today's society. To, you know, reset. I can still say that joke, but I've got to say it like that. It can still be funny, but it's funny because of that reason and not that reason, and that's the joke. And it's really interesting. You saying that, I think you know, we going back, we can kind of like be embarrassed about our past and say, you know, it was a very male dominated thing, but what we should do is learn from it, and that's what we're doing. And I think people are learning, and I've spoken to Loz Campbell last week. I spoke to Bastet, Caroline Eve Kenyon, and she's created on her own, you know, her thing. She gets her musicians in, and she's very, very, very classically trained, but knows exactly what she wants. And I saw that with you on stage. I think you have a real power about you. I don't know if you're aware of it. There's an aura around you. You see with the green hair, it's nice, that kind of thing. But you have a real presence. I mean, does that come from a family? Does it come from inside? Where does that come from?
Do you know, honestly, it's so weird because, you know, with the live stuff being a collective, there are some members that can come to a show and watch it, but that's one of the things that I always said since the beginning, is that it's such a shame you can't see yourself play because you don't know that. So, I mean, obviously, I probably I'm at home on stage, so I feel comfortable, you know, more comfortable than I am in most scenarios, really, because I grew up with a lot of performance and, you know, just constantly performing forever, really. So I do feel really at home in that environment. So maybe that's what it is. Yeah.
Do you know what did it for, do you know what did it for me?
Go on. Your RAF hat. Yeah. I love that hat.
I saw you wearing that in a couple of the videos, actually, one of the earlier ones. So I thought, yeah, it does. It's something like a girl in a peak hat. Is that kind of okay? Like, I'm in control now. It's almost like a power thing, you know, which I really liked. So,
yeah, do you know, I actually picked that hat up so long ago. I mean, I must have been about, I don't know, 17, 18, and I just saw it. I was like, yeah. And then one day I was like, I think I'll just wear that for the video. Like, but it works because
it does work. Yeah, it's very powerful. I got told off by Glenn Matlock of the Sex Pistols for wearing this hat. He said to me, "You can cut my gear, but don't wear that hat." I said, "No, I wear this because I never know what to do with my hair. It just sort of goes all over the place." And you know, if I'm like, we're rehearsing last night, you can't. I mean, I don't know if you have this problem. I'm you know, getting back used to this because I cut my hair all off in '97, thought it was all over. I was never going to play again, and then I got the bug back with Ransom, and over lockdown, I thought, you know, I'm going to grow my hair. I'm going to dye it blonde. To start writing songs again. And it's I mean, I got back into it watching a video. Massive Wagons, watching one of their videos on TV, a House of Noise, and it just got me. I just started singing this, thinking, yeah, I want to get back to making noise again. And I don't know, I'm really excited. I'm enjoying music now more than I ever have. The industry's changed. All the people who are up themselves and all the egotists, and they're going to the side. And people can now play. They can get their music out there. There's no kind of vision. Like you just have to say, like, we released a single, we're releasing one next week, like Call the Wild. Yeah, it's out there. People can hear it. And there's nothing can stop you. And it's that direct access now, which is so important for artists. Don't you feel that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I feel like that's half of the battle as well. But you know, I feel like independents still do have the roarer of the deals. You know, we've got to work twice as hard to get the music out there and represent something which is real and has value, like to us and probably the people around us, you would hope. I mean, for us, Team Razors, amazing. Everyone's really supportive of what we're doing. But the thing is that, you know, we won't be able to promote that as well as something that's manufactured, set up by the major labels, put out through streaming platforms that are engineered by majors for majors, influencing the chart, pushing that, essentially independent's always at a disadvantage, but kind of like to be able to like be the spike in that system, and just kind of remind those entities that there is a really bright underground that also needs that support system, and that we're still here even if we don't have it.
That's really important. I was going to ask you about that, about the name The Cut and the team Raises. Where did I mean, obviously I get the connection between Raises and The Cut, but where did the name come from? Where's it come from?
I think it's just just an idea of a name that I always wanted for my own entity, and my mum gave me a scissors necklace, and also I've got a razor one as well, which I've got on now. I don't know if you can see that, but I kind of wear those. I love them. But the scissors crossed with the cut, which was it was my tag as well, because I used to do a bit of graffiti. And then just one day I'm like, that's what I'm calling the project.
I could tell you're an artist because you spotted the Liechtenstein behind me. I actually had some jewelry made for me. Actually, I had this was made by Havisham Jewelry. I'll give her a little plug out. She made it with a little hair. I inspired her on this one, so she sent that to me. Nice. Said, "Would you wear it?" So I don't take it off. Well, I can't take it off now. It's so tight and the back it just stays on. So I can't take it off. It's just one of those things. I mean, it was just interesting you saying that and about team raise. And I know that you used the Arts Council of England, didn't you, to raise money for some of your music. Was that correct?
Yeah, I did an application on a whim, really, and not sure whether it would come off or not. And the fact that it was accepted meant that I could invite everyone that I've been touring with and playing with so long, including those that were on the first album, to get involved and create the recording of the second one, which was amazing, to be honest. But so that was brilliant, and then a lot of touring around that, as well as some research around the visibility of women in music.
That's great. I love what you stand for. I think you're such a powerful spokesperson. As I said, having interviewed in recent weeks and having spoken to Els Bailey, spoken to Beth and to Caroline last week, and even Jackie from Girls' School, Jax Chambers. And
nice. I know Jax. Yeah, she's cool. Yeah,
she's such a wicked girl. I mean, I grew up rehearsing next door to Rock Goddess and people like that anyway, but I love that. And I'm just so happy that the music scene is so vibrant right now, and that people are kind of, it doesn't matter if someone gets up there and plays guitar, it doesn't matter who they are, what they are, just, it's all about the music, which is at the end of the day what we want. We want people to appreciate our art, what we're singing about, and not be blinkered by who we are or where we come from or whatever, and backgrounds like that. And I think if I'm reading you right, and you're standing for something, which I think is always impressive, but you're more than that. You're a great lyricist. I saw the video. I love the video you did out in America, the Hollywood one. That was a great. Was it Hollywood Rock and Roll? That was a great. I've done that. I've been stuck in 6 lanes of traffic in Burbank as well, actually.
Oh wow.
And, that's something. And then I went back to my hotel, and Cher was staying in our hotel. And
oh wow.
And this was the thing. I think she's amazing, Cher. But I got up in the morning, and her PR girl was arguing with the front desk. We were just checking out, and she was moaning that her alarm hadn't got off. And she said, "Well, I'm sorry, she's going to have to come and see us herself." And then in walked through the door. I'm standing there. In walks Cher to go and complain about the alarm. I said, in my head, what I wanted to say was, "If only you could turn back time," but I didn't. Instead, I said, "Perhaps you had a real dead ringer above," which probably wasn't quite so good. She gave me a little half smile and then walked straight on. And that was my Cher story, and that was it.
That's great.
Well, I don't think it was that impressive. I don't think I did so much for the UK that day. So, what does the future hold for you? I mean, gig wise, a new album must be a music. You're a prolific writer, so you must be working on new material.
Oh, thanks so much. It's really sweet. Thanks for doing all this research around the project and everything. So at the moment, I've just been working on getting some new demos for my Patreon. There's no immediate pressure to release an album yet, because the other one's just not even a year old yet, so it's just come out, really. Still touring that. And then the label's got quite a lot going on as well. So, you know, as a label, initially Criminal Records had a lot of artists, which later became less artists while I tried to figure my own thing out, because I'd sidelined a lot of that in order to promote other artists, which I love and still love, besides a couple that stayed on, so Argonaut and the Exits. But, you know, when Weekend Recovery had issues with the label that they were on, they needed a label. So that kind of kick-started me fueling the label, which is something I wanted to do as well. So Weekend Recovery have got an album coming out very soon, their third album, Esoteric, and they've been working really hard on that. Got lots of stuff to go with it, like a full 45-hour game, and you know, visuals and NFT collection and stuff. I don't know if I can say that yet, actually, but and then also Popes of Chilitown have got a new album coming out, which they're a very recent signing to the label, and it's their fourth album. So Take a Picture is going to be out in basically the end of June. So that's going to keep me a bit busy.
That's really, I mean, and it's good that the sort of team ethic that you've got there. I think that's really good, the support. I think the one thing I always say to people, and one thing that I've learned, I mean, I've got a book out at the moment, took about a band I was in years ago and about the experience of how the industry was back in the 90s. And,
I know, you're smashing it.
But, you know, but it's nice that people can relate to it. And a lot of people have contacted me from overseas and all over saying, you know, it's brought back so many memories of how it was then. And you can tend to rose tint things a little bit, but I've done it in a very self-deprecating way. But the one thing I've learned is there's room for everybody. And all these people that get uptight or don't want to like other people's posts or other people's music because they're worried that it's going to take, you just say to them, look, what you're saying now, you're just a beautiful example of that. Is there's room for everybody. We're, you know, and if we can help other musicians, it's why I wanted to do this. I wanted an opportunity to big up other artists that I was impressed with. And I was really impressed with you, not just your music, but the way you were as a person and what you stand for. And that's why I wanted to do this. And I know we've been over this for a few weeks, and I know you didn't have the time at the time. And I'm really glad you had, because I want people who wouldn't necessarily, you know, go and watch the cut or necessarily know who you were, will now pay attention to you and say, wow, you know, their music's great. And she's such a great, because you stand for something which I think is so important in today's music. It really is. And you should be very proud of what you're doing. And also at the same time, I mean that. And I'm hoping that we'll get to play with each other again at a festival somewhere, or I'm sure we will.
Yeah, for sure. No, thanks so much. I mean, yeah, it's a real honor. I don't normally do many video interviews. In fact, this is the first one I think I've ever done on Zoom.
What a way to break your virginity, eh?
Yeah, well, you managed to slide into those DMs and be like, yeah, come on, let's do this. No, it's right though, and yeah, thanks so much, and yeah, definitely see you on the out there world, yeah, on the road. We'll
be there somewhere. I'll come and see. I'll keep it on with you. So, what's up tonight? You're going to see a band tonight, aren't you? You're going to support a band tonight?
Yeah, I'm going to go down to Shepherd's Bush Empire, and I'm going to be watching. Hang on, Lucy Spraggan, who my mate worked with, but I don't know, and I don't know the music yet. So
I have. I've listened to her. I think I'm connected to her actually on Facebook. Yeah, she's good. Yeah, you'll have a good night down there. It's a great venue. Great venue.
Yeah, I love that. It's local to me as well. If you've got like some West London gigs.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah. I used to rehearse a lot in West London, in Paddington and around that way, and all that kind of area. I used to love that. And I love that. You know, that one you do on the roof. Is that Animo? Is that one you do on the roof? I like that. Yeah, that's a really good one. That reminds me of being in West London. Well, listen, I don't want to keep, because I know you've got to get off tonight. Princess Maha, it's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you. Thank you for coming. Good luck with everything that you do. And I know we're going to see each other again. And this will come out probably in a couple of weeks' time or a week and a half's time. And you can bet your life that people will be checking in, and you can check your Spotify account because people will be looking at it and see what we're all about.
Oh, thanks so much. Really, it's much appreciated. And I look forward to seeing it and sharing it on my socials. Absolutely right. Go and have a swim in the river behind you. The old Golden Gate. Yeah, beautiful sunset behind you. All the best. You take care. Speak soon. You too. Thanks so much. Bye-bye. Bye.